Well, Jide Ogunsanwo joins us now. He's a data and information analyst, and let's go through some of these figures about the elections. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you. It's always interesting having to come and clear out the figures again.
Yeah. So you've gone through some of the figures that INEC has released. Which one particularly strikes you while you went through them?
First, it's a lot of things we can look at. What everybody is concerned about right now is the PVC collection rates. The most recent figures of that March 17 puts PVC collection rates nationwide at about 82%. And clearly what you notice is there are still some states, especially in the northern region, where we have high PVC collection rates. So you have only 4 states in Nigeria where PVC collection rate is above 95%. That's Jigawa, Zamfara, Bauchi, and Gombe. And clearly we've had lots of discussions on why, is there any empirical evidence to really suggest why PVC collection rate up north is relatively higher than PVC collection rates down south. And the first narrative that we have today is that if we look at the last report of the unemployment rate that was released by the National Bureau of Statistics, and you correlate the unemployment rates per state with the PVC collection rates per state as we have right now, you find a 66% correlation rate. Now, in simple terms, what that means is states with high PVC collection rates are also the same states with high unemployment rates, and the states with low PVC collection rates are also the states with low unemployment rates. I'll give you an example. Yobe State, as at the moment, has 74% PVC collection rate. The unemployment rate in Yobe State, based on the last report, is 39%. And Zamfara State, where we have PVC collection rate of 96%, unemployment rate is also above 30%, 33%. And you look at the 2 states that we have currently in the country with the lowest PVC collection rates, Lagos State and Ogun State. Lagos State PVC collection rate is about 64%. Unemployment rate in Lagos State is below 10%. Same thing in Ogun State. You have PVC collection rate of about 57%, and unemployment rate in Ogun State is also below 10%. So what you can find right now is, even though the enthusiasm of those up north seems to influence PVC collection rates, the empirical narrative right now is a lot of states with high PVC collection rates have been able to achieve it because a lot of youths within those states have no jobs.
So clearly, it means that what did you find when you looked through that card review, the tests that happened across the country? Because if they had no jobs, you expected that they would have time to focus on those cards, to see the usage of those cards, and then have a high or success rate while those cards were tested. But the reverse was the case.
The reverse was the case, quite clearly. INEC is currently looking at it because they're a non-partisan body. They are looking at the PVC collection rates from a national perspective. So the results based on the smart card reader test is 59% of those areas that were tested, the 12 states that were tested, were successful. But what is more interesting is for us to look at what is more critical to the potential voter, and especially the political party, and that is looking at the smart card reader test on a regional basis, and looking at the smart card reader test on a party basis. So you had the smart card reader test done in 12 states. On a regional basis, 45% of smart card readers in the north only passed the test. So what you have is a low smart card reader performance across northern states, only 45%. And across southern states, much higher, 69%. So on a regional basis, you clearly see the reason why those up north have concerns on will they be able to vote on election day. If you look at it on a party basis, across the 12 states, you have Lagos, Rivers, Kano, and Nasarawa, APC states that the smart card reader test were handled. Across those APC states, the smart card results show that 64% was successful. Across PDP states, only 50%. So you understand why there's a lot of agitation, especially from the ruling party, on what will happen on election day. According to according to the party lines, only 50% of smart card readers that were handled in PVC states were successful, as compared to those that were accredited were successful. compared to the 64% success rate that we recorded on APC governed states. What is really interesting, especially for our viewers, is for us to not focus too much on the rates, is to really understand what is going on the regional basis. So we have, as of today, 56 million PVCs that have been collected. 34 million of these PVCs have been collected in the northern Nigeria, that's northeast, north central, and northwest. We have 24 million PVCs that have been collected across the 3 zones in the southern Nigeria. Why this is very interesting is currently we have 7 states across, that's among the 17 states in southern Nigeria. 7 of these states are controlled by the APC. You have 9 of these states controlled by the PDP and 1 by ABGA. So in simple terms, in southern Nigeria, you have 7 states being governed by the APC, 10 states being governed by non-APC. This is the region where you have 24 million PVCs collected. What you find interesting is, among these 24 million PVCs, 12.5 million has been collected in just these 7 states. So what we are saying here is, among the 7 states APC controls in southern Nigeria, it has more than 50% of the PVCs in its region. And that is clearly something the opposition will be happy about, especially because a large percentage of smart card reader tests were successful in southern Nigeria. Why the ruling party will be more agitated about the results of the smart card readers is if you look at the distribution of PVCs in northern Nigeria, that's across the 3 zones. We say we have 34 million PVCs. At the moment, across those 19 states up north, the PDP controls 12 states. And these are the 12 states that most PVCs have been distributed. So what you will expect is the ruling party is also agitating to confirm that a lot of his supporters that have collected PVCs in northern Nigeria will be able to use their PVCs and will be able to vote. We understand there will be incidents reporting forms, but clearly the incidents reporting forms will elongate the process, and we need to understand the profile of voters on election day. What we have right now is a large chunk of voters, that's a large chunk of the 56 million voters, are people that are poor and unemployed. We've talked about the evidence, which is the empirical evidence that lets us conclude that a lot of voters that have collected their cards are unemployed. The second is the poverty rate. And to understand how the poverty rate comes to play in these elections is a recent survey by a group called EFINA, Enhancing Financial Innovation and Access, concluded the survey last year and said that 34 million Nigerians have bank accounts. Now, that is not the number that Nigerians need to keep in mind, not 34 million. The number is the number of Nigerians that have ATM cards, and that number is 19.8 million. Just about 20 million Nigerians have ever used an ATM card. We now have PVCs in the hands of 56 million. So what you have is you have potentially an additional 36 million voters that have never used a chip card before. And the reason why they've never used a chip card before is clearly because of their income status. So on election day, INEC should understand that a lot of these voters will be using these smart cards for the first time, will be using the chip cards, the voters card for the first time. A lot of them will be unemployed. And if you put an unemployed man that is poor, that can use his PVC on election day, now that is a very dangerous recipe for violence.